Greetings, viewers and listeners. Welcome to yet another episode of Business Chronicles here at Studio 84. Studio 84 is a space set up to facilitate individuals and organizations tell their stories and along the way positioning themselves as authorities at what they do, because we believe that everyone has a story to tell and is an authority at something. My name is Solomon Tumwesigye, and you're welcome yet again to Business Chronicles. Today, my guest is she already started. I'm sure you had her in the beginning. This is going to be an interesting 30 minutes.
It must.
I was about to say she needs no introduction, but I'm going to ask her to introduce herself. She wears many hats. Just before we started, we were talking about how she has experience. She knows a thing or two about these production things, and she was telling, she like has a story for everything. I will also ask her whether she has watched Slumdog Millionaire.
Yes, I have.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I feel like you'd thrive in Slumdog Millionaire because like every situation you like have experienced it in one way or another. You have a story
Cat
to
with
tell.
90 lives, please, not just 9. We up to the number.
Jackie,
Yes.
you're welcome to
Thank you.
Business Chronicles.
Thank you.
Please introduce yourself. Let's see how you like to be known.
First of all, I am a travelist. I have agreed I am a nomad at heart. My spirit is most at rest when I am on the long road to nowhere. Must be a scenic nowhere, but I do love wide open spaces.
Wow.
It's the thing that calms me when I'm feeling jittery. I also am a nature lover, particularly water and trees. I have a feeling either in my former life or in my life to come, I shall be a water body or a tree. But yeah, there's just something so
swim in
peaceful
you.
and majestic and grand. When I feel the pressures of life come at me,
Yeah.
I like to go and look at water, especially the Lake Victoria, because the expanse reminds me it's not yet done. It's still borderless. It is still farther than your eye can see.
Yeah.
And then trees just, I think of wisdom contained and rooted for millennia. I am a lawyer sometimes. Well, I studied law. Yeah, I studied law.
That's a good way to put it.
I studied law. I'm a generous human being. I call myself a philanthropist. I try and own the name, not shyly, because I think we have assumed that philanthropy is only about money, and it is about love for humanity. So we must remember, love is the message, and the message is love. And love is not only expressed through money. So when I say I'm a philanthropist, I mean that I am born, raised, rooted in the art, in the spirit, in the fire of generosity. I am who I am today because of the many people who poured into my life, and therefore I'm required also as my payback to pay it forward. Yeah. And then there are many things, like you said. In a short, we said we are keeping this short and rolling. I am a businesswoman who owns a business that will make money one day. Like in the future.
Yeah.
The future is bright, I tell you.
Okay, viewers and listeners, as you may have guessed, my guest today is deeper. Is deeper than my usual guests, and her opening kind of renders me speechless and kind of throws me off.
No.
I'm going to try and poke a bit into your introduction.
Yes.
Did you go to LDC?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Did you have your day in court?
Half a day. So you see, once you are done with the Law Development Center, which is where you get your legal diploma in legal practice that allows you to practice, I did not go on to become an advocate of the High Court of Uganda and all courts subordinate there too. Partly because I desired at the time when I was doing law, my dream picture in my mind was to be a judge,
Yes.
dispense justice. And so I thought to myself that I would work my way up through the judiciary, you know. I did actually apply to be a magistrate, but then soon thereafter there was a moratorium on civil service recruitment
In
because
English, a moratorium.
a stop.
Okay.
You people went to school. Anyway, no, and because I think at the time the government was still struggling, post-war economy,
Yes.
trying to raise money to pay civil servants, which was fine. It was absolutely understandable. So I thought to myself, next best thing is go to FIDA, which is
Yes.
where and FIDA, we did a lot of mediation. Our first port of call was not court.
Yeah.
Yes, we were lawyers, are lawyers, but we preferred the route of mediation. And so, as and when matters had to go to court, we did have female lawyers who had chambers who we would send court cases to. So the few times I have been to court was if a client, had a matter in court and said, just come and be with me
Yes.
as my lawyer,
Yes.
sit with me, or, helping the client navigate the court system. But to stand myself in court and present a case, no. I wanted to be on the bench, the one receiving
Wow.
the case and hearing it and dispensing justice from that side. Yep.
And yet I know you haven't given up on your desire and quest to dispense justice.
No, and I think that is the thing that I have found over the arc of my life, that justice is not only dispensed in the halls of court, that it is, to be just is to be fair, is to do the right thing, to do right by. And so it can be on the street, it can be neighbor to neighbor, it can be wherever humans interact. There is a moment for either justice or injustice. Yeah. So had to learn that over time, and I hope and pray that law students now are learning that.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to think that no, justice only happens in a box
Yes.
called a court, in a chamber
Yes.
called a
Yes.
law chamber.
And the hammer has we hit.
Yes, no,
Wow.
it is all day, every day.
Philanthropy is not only about money.
Not at all.
Why is this going to take many viewers and
And
listeners by surprise?
Because of a thing we call narratives. So
Yeah.
what has become the story about philanthropy, and when we ask people who is a philanthropist, who do they think about or what do they center?
Yeah.
It happens over time because of narrative, and that's why shows like these become important for educating, for re-educating, for recentering what should be. And I wish we spoke about love more,
Yeah.
because that is the root word for philanthropy. Love for humanity. For those who are Christians, if I have all these things but have not love, and how many people give money but have not love?
You remind me of something. I have an auntie, 95 now maybe. And it occurred to me not too long ago that she is adored by so many women in this country. The short callers in this day and age in this country, because she taught them in school. And yet I can also bet that she never gave any of them even 100 shillings. Like, there's almost no one in this world who will tell you that woman, typically they say they paid my fees, they raised me, they did what? Nothing.
Yeah. And the thing is, Solomon, that the other thing I'm learning is that philanthropy is a spectrum. It's all things, and it's not even comparable,
Yes.
right? She poured into them what she could. Isn't that what love is about? What are you pouring into? Another, friend of mine that we both share, Penny, tells often the story of her grandmother, whose service throughout her life has been the church. Every Sunday, ironing those cloths that we see that will go on the altar, making sure there were flowers at the altar Sunday after Sunday, like making sure that church was presentable for people to come into. But who shall we laud when we think about people giving? So I wish we could remember that love looks like so many things, and that each of us has a way we express love. Yes, it may be through money, but money is not more important than any other acts of service. One of the people I love to death is Dr. Gladys Kalema, who the thing she's giving is saving our gorilla population, right? The thing you're giving to, like, it's that's why we are multi, that's why we are many, because all our gifts given in love is what we need for humanity to thrive, for the world to thrive.
How did the lawyer end up here?
So,
on philanthropy that is not money but love. I mean,
maybe because I was, again, I said I am a philanthropist because that's how I was grown. That's where I'm rooted. You cannot be a reverend child in this country and not have experienced generosity in amazing ways. And I think, I didn't have to be told it, just had to see it in action. And that's what it is, right? What actions is your generosity propelling? So to know that some days we could have gone hungry, some days my parents would have to go to the schools to say, can she be studying as? Some days
we figure this out.
Right, as we figure this out. Some days it was us giving. It wasn't only that we were the recipients, right? Sometimes it was mom saying, yep, it is Christmas. You're going to give the best of what you have. It was our home that was always full of people. It was so that is the steeping of who I am now. And I think you discover yourself over your lifetime, right? Yes, so I knew Jackie, the lawyer. I did not know Jackie, the philanthropist, until I started CivSource, which is for and about giving and generosity and African philanthropy. That I was like, this is actually a thing we are grown in.
Yes.
That we assume is so obvious, and yet it isn't.
No.
Yeah. So in this season of my life, that is what I am giving myself to showing people the myriad and beautiful ways that we are a generous people, and how I wish we could name it, but also collectivize it more. Like, how can we make it even more impactful as we come together, as we pool together the resources that we have.
So one thing, Jackie, has occurred to me lately, especially with people sitting in that chair and telling me how their background and then what they are doing now, like 80% are doing things they never intended to end up doing. And they all have to do with the way they were raised. Like subconsciously, how you end up at default settings.
Yeah.
When you've studied what you wanted to study, worked what you think you wanted to work, but left what you studied to work and gone back to like default setting, it like almost always has to do with the way you are raised. So I find it interesting that your philanthropy is also rooted in the way you were raised in a typical Anglican setting. Did I ever confess to you what I thought about you the first time I met you?
Should I also call my priest? Anyway, what did you think? Oh, Lord.
So I first met Jackie at, you mentioned CivSource, and I remembered at a CivSource event that was all about philanthropy, of course, like it is, and giving. It's your annual flagship event.
The Gathering of Givers.
That one. Yeah. And I was like, okay, this is like a first. I hadn't seen like an organization doing an event about giving. Like today we are all about giving. Now, I visited your staff that I was working with before the event at office, and I was like, wow, this is beautiful and clean and neat. And then I was like, this is interesting. Then I met the woman behind all this. Smart, beautiful, classy, very eloquent. I'm sure you can confess from her choice of English words in this.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my
And I was like, how? And this is a question I asked someone. I was like, how have I not met this woman before? I remember asking someone. Yes, I asked the gentleman I was working with, the comms at that time. Like, how have I not met her before? I thought you were impressive. Like everything in all ways that you did your things, where you worked from, how you worked, the flow of your event. Like everyone I worked with, from the MC to the gentleman I was working the event with, were all organized, everything scripted, time, what man. Anyway,
So
say
you said
no.
you were, as in it has since gone
No,
downhill. You used past tense. Anyway, just check.
because it's in the past.
Okay, okay.
Because she's correcting my English. But I think you should know that you the first feeling I got, to use one word, excellence.
Me now.
Facing mountains.
Yes.
First of all, the choice of the title of the book. What's with the choice? It could have been climbing mountains, or mountains behind me, or
Right.
whatever
Scaling
it is.
them, something.
Scaling mountains.
Wow. So I think it's twofold. So for those who do not know, I have written a memoir called Facing Mountains, which I launched last year. And I did physically climb. I have physically climbed 6 mountains in East Africa. But I also use stories of my life. So I intersperse it with stories of my life and the mountains I've had to face. And it's interesting, Solomon, because when you are going to climb a mountain, it is so you have to face it, right? You have to see it and say, "Whoa, will I?" And for some, like Renzori, you don't even see the peak, right? So it's not like you can see where you're going.
Just see
Kilimanjaro, no,
bushes
you
and
don't,
shrubs
right? And
ahead
it's just
of
like,
you.
whoa, where are we disappearing into? And I juxtapose it with much of what we do in life. We have to face those things and start the climb from base camp all the way to the top, if we make it to the top. And it's no judgment to those that don't, because to face a mountain is a big thing. It's a scary thing. So yeah, that was it. It was a play on those two, facing the physical mountain because you see it in front of you. I don't know if you've driven to the west, either to Fort Portal or even to Kisoro. Like there's a point at which you start seeing Muhavura everywhere you turn.
Yes.
Like you have to face it, right? You have to.
Yes.
It's right there in front of you. But it's also human to avoid facing what's in front of you. We think that somehow if we blink or something, look away, it will go away.
It will go away.
But at some point you have to face it. So yeah, it was a play on that. Do the things that are in front of you. Sometimes you do them well, and sometimes you don't. Lose and learn, or win and learn. Both ways. So yeah, that was what that was about.
That's what it was about.
Yeah.
And for someone facing mountains, like 3 keys to take it on. I'm glad you have more.
Yes. 3 keys.
Like, first, what are usually the fears to take it on? Because facing it, you don't have a choice as long as your eyes are open and your ears are.
One, I think, is that each mountain is different.
Yeah.
So even how you face Elgon might not be the same way you face Muhavura is not the same way. So that's a lesson I quickly had to learn. Mountains are not the same. And you might assume that a one-day climb will be easier than a multi-day climb, because Elgon, Rwenzori, Kilimanjaro are multi-day climbs. You don't reach the peak on day one. Muhabura was actually my hardest, my most horrible. I do not like that mountain because it was steep from start to end. So don't assume. Yes, take lessons from your last mountain to the next one, but absolutely know that every mountain is different. Yeah. I think the other thing is it's one step in front of the other. There's no other way to face the mountain. You, like I said, you can't leapfrog.
No.
From here to no. It is literally one step in front of another.
Yeah,
and I especially say this now because for some, and part of it is media and the way things are presented, or the way we assume life happens. We see the success and forget that there were steps to it. Or we see quick success and we want to get there and forget process. Process matters, guys.
Yeah.
It's process matters. If there is anything I could tell people again and again, process. And then finally is the one that I learned on Kilimanjaro. Leave your shit on the mountain.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that, it occurred to me, I mean, we all are humans, so we all go to the bathroom, yes. And on mountains, they are not like they are you don't know when it will catch you. So as you're walking, you will have to look for a place to go.
Yes.
And you will find that others have climbed, therefore they have also gone. But no, the thing that occurred to me at that point was, so Jackie, imagine that you pooped and scooped it and put it in your backpack, then walked next stop, poop, So that was the learning, the lesson of leave it there. There are things we carry that we should have left, and so you carry a stinkiness about you because you just will not put your shit down. Leave it. Leave your shit on the mountain is another lesson for me that I would say is a key. There are things you know that you're carrying, which just stop.
That you shouldn't be.
Because they're stinking you up and you're also stinking.
Wow. I would love to explore that last point even deeper. But before I do, maybe I will. About that.
And there were shits that I needed to leave. And I do explain them. I don't want to tell all of them. People must buy the book and look for me.
That's what I was... No. Because my question was going to be, or my question other as well, the person going to read the book, what they should expect. We now know that, it's a
I didn't actually write about the leave the shit. Yeah. Book two.
Yeah. As it says there, another... What is it called? A revised or something?
Updated edition.
Yes. About the physical mountains, you mentioned something that got my attention. You shouldn't take it for granted that a single day climb is easier than a multi-day climb. I climbed Muhabura, and I remember when I left, I said, I'm not going up this mountain again. I haven't climbed another. But when I think of what I went through with Muhabura, and then you tell me I have to go through that 7 days with Kilimanjaro, I'm like, no. I mean, you reach a point and like by the time you reach the second hut, past the second hut, you take 5 steps and you're out of breath.
Right.
And now I have to go through that like 4 more days. No. But incidentally, people will tell you that Rwenzori is harder than Kilimanjaro, and yet Kilimanjaro is higher. So, like you said, no two mountains are the same. The dynamics are different. You also mentioned that Muhabura is steep from beginning to end. I'm talking ladders and whatever, like this. And then some will tell you sloping is harder than climbing, because if you didn't cut your toenails, you will end up. So, Jackie, younger people, what has been your experience? I know you have an interesting way of looking at things, so I can't wait to hear working with younger people, the way they look at life, the way they, how we accuse them of wanting everything now, and yet we are raised. I actually dare say that we were raised by parents who didn't know the times they were raising us for, and I feel like we are doing the same.
Absolutely.
How has it been like?
I think you can only parent or raise from a back script, not a forward script, because you don't know what is to come.
Yes.
And then, so to that extent, I think it's how did one person put it? There are things we need to learn to hold both firmly and lightly at the same time.
Yeah.
Somehow. And what do I mean by this? Of course, do your part. Like teach the values, teach the wisdom that you gained, but knowing that because it's an endless cup, they will also have to learn their own wisdoms, like we all do, we all did, right? I'm sure now in your life experience right now, there are things that you have learned because of the path that you have taken, which we could not have foreseen as your parent that you would take in the world that you're taking it. So it's and I think the clash happens when we insist that they must live the way we. So to understand that the world is ever changing, can I provide to the extent that I can, the grounding that I can? But going back to that filler, love, right? Because I think it anchors all things, I think. It anchors all things. So please teach by all means, do not give up. But also learn that they are also learning their lessons as they also grow up. And as you also, because, learning doesn't stop.
No, it doesn't.
It is like that. So at an office level, I struggle with. But now in nowadays, you don't just Jackie, this is not your days. You're not training for your days. But so what do you? It's a continual learning, and it's a conversation. I think that's just like we're having now. I think we don't stop long enough to hear each other. Yeah, you're all stuck in your my corner is like this and their corner is like that. But maybe having conversations and understanding what is their world like as well. Can you educate each other across the generations and across the lines? Yep.
Jackie, you're the kind of person who plans out their life or life's journey of I'm going to do this, then do this, then do this, do this, or you're the kind who says, you know what, one day at a time, let's see what today brings, what tomorrow brings?
I'm both, and I like to plan. Partly, I guess, because part of it is maybe personality type, part of it is firstborn, part of it is many things, right? So yes, I love to plan ahead of time, but also knowing that the day can also, as one person I recently worked with, let today surprise me. So again, it's that holding firm and holding light. Because sometimes you can get now agitated. My thing did not go as they said because now they said, and then you work yourself. So it's an interesting dance to hold firm and hold light.
This walking thing. As about to close, then you said it.
Yes.
What are you walking away from? Like some people say.
Why are we walking away? There's two, you people. We are walking to our bright future.
I love it. Where are you walking to? And after what, 400 and what?
Today was 431.
You haven't reached?
No. You people, the bright is future. How can you tell you're in your future? I don't know. No. The future hasn't. And it's not even a thing about numbers in the sense of I'm trying to reach a
certain number. Hit 1,000 walks.
Maybe when people stop asking to walk with me, I will stop. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. I don't. Do we ever ask people when are you stopping to breathe?
Okay. Did you plan to walk?
In what sense?
Did you plan to next week? This year, New Year's resolution, I'm going to start walking with people and have conversations.
So the plan,
And then write
yes.
blogs from the conversations.
So that the starting of it, yes, was planned, and I started on 2nd June 2020, and I need to blow my nose. Because the AC is right inside.
Oh
my
gosh, you should have been.
So Vanange, we pause this commercial. Smile, we pause programming to allow the visitor to blow the nose. The what? The nose. Can I blow it in the microphone? In your bumpy, no.
Initially, you wanted to sip. See how your prayer has been answered in other ways. There you have it.
Okay. Yeah, we are human.
Okay, so initially,
yes.
you planned.
So, yes, so 2nd June 2023. Yes, is when I launched Walk, Talk, Connect, in which I walk, I talk, and we connect. And
hold on a second.
Yes.
I just realized that from 2020 to 2023, thereabout, we almost always relate that period with when we're just in COVID, when we're just out of COVID.
Right? I know, right? BC and AC is now different after COVID.
Exactly.
BC is not before computers anymore. It is before COVID. Oh
so
my
after
goodness,
COVID.
right? Who knew the C would change into COVID? But yes.
Walk, Talk, Connect.
So I did start an initiative called Walk, Talk, Connect because I do love to meet people.
Yeah.
And I love to walk as my daily exercise. And so it was like, what else can I do with my walking? And graciously, people have walked with me, including you, right? And I count number of walks, not number of people walked with. So, because I'm sure that number is much higher than 431. Because sometimes I work with couples or friends or a group of people. So, what was the question again?
Did you plan to walk?
What did I plan?
Yeah.
Yes, so what I did plan was the Let Me Walk. And it actually started as Fridays with Jackie.
Yeah.
Because I thought I'll, walk by myself the rest of the week, but Fridays I'll do my public service to humanity.
Yeah.
And my first walk, we'll never forget, was Afri. Posted her picture. And then the next walk was the next Saturday, actually, and then the next Friday. So it started first but as I started so none of the rest was planned. To take a picture of the person I'm walking with, and then first it was just writing bullet points. This is what I learned today. Then it became a story. Then now it has become what it has become. And so what I do plan is someone reaches out or I reach out, and then we plan the day. Sometimes the day we plan doesn't happen, so now I've learned to let that go. We will walk when we are supposed to walk. Maybe today was not your day for whatever reason, and I cannot tell. But the walk will happen, and we will walk when we are supposed to walk, and it will be a beautiful day. It will be a beautiful walk. Yeah, so I am absolutely grateful for all the
435 walks, yes.
All the conversations, all the... I feel like my life is so much richer for having this experience. It's been absolutely amazing.
What's like I don't know if you could, like the biggest takeaway from the walks, like the most interesting story, no names, please.
Yeah,
like,
I know. Then others will be like... No. Like Bambi, no. So I don't like those.
Or like biggest shocker, like.
Biggest shocker. No. So, the thing that absolutely blows my mind, Solomon, and I kid you not, walk after walk, and the people, the vast majority I'm literally meeting that day.
Yeah.
We don't know each other from Adam. Is just how connected we are. Like there will always be a thing that me and that person share in common. an experience, a thing, a like, a dislike. It's like, how is this? And so I started to figure, maybe if we had, maybe if we had more conversations, we wouldn't fight as much, right? Because it's just so, and it's, for me, I walk away with like, how can we harness all these things we share in common? Because we do. That is one. But two, what is also very beautiful is just how people love many things and they're all valid. It's not like you want, it's, we're all so differently and beautifully wired and are passionate about various things. So it's beautiful to hear what people feel is their life calling or their mission or purpose in that season. Or it's like, and the world needs you for that thing at this time. So do it, lean into it. And I think finally, we're all afraid to start. There's no one who says, no. Everybody has whatever fear it is about, but will my thing take? Will it catch? Will it? Is there an audience for the thing that is burning in my heart to start?
Talk about facing mountains.
Right? The mountain of starting that thing that you know you want to start and you're just afraid.
Jackie, about starting.
Yeah.
I feel like there are many more philanthropists, by the definition I learned this morning, out there, but they don't consider themselves as such.
Absolutely.
And they are givers in many ways, but they don't even know that they are givers, because most times it comes naturally to them and so on. So my question, or the conversation I'm trying to drive to, is along the lines of, at what point do you call yourself a philanthropist? How do you formalize your giving? How do you, or do you live in that state?
And I think it's so one of the things we're trying to do as CivSource in trying to unpack this is telling stories of, and we call it giving generosity. And philanthropy, so that people can sort of locate themselves, because maybe I don't want to use the word philanthropist. But I'm a giver, or so by whatever name called. One, but two, and some will want to formalize it, and some won't. Which is also fine. When we ask people to tell their stories, like, no, I want to do mine privately. It's okay. Maybe don't tell your story, tell Solomon's. Say, but there's a man in my village who, or there's a person on my street who, like, because we, in a world that is so seeped and drained by bad news, we forget that generosity is one of those things that tells us that the world is still worth living for, is still worth defending. And I think it's also the invitation for people to notice, therefore, the multiple acts of generosity that happen all day, every day around them. I wish we could get to that point where, because we do want to do a research, but I'm not even sure that a research will show us the sum total of giving that happens on a daily. I don't know how to get to that awareness level where we're like, yes, we do. We are a generous people. And this is what our generosity does. This is maybe where we should lean in more, because the gaps are here, because we are all maybe tending to one thing and not another. And that's why I want us to, in that sense, collectivize, not as though we are all only putting into one pot, but to say, okay, what can I learn from Solomon, or from this church, that alumni association, that Rotary Club, that village association, that how can we learn together? How can we maybe we would actually leverage if we pulled some of this giving together? Who knows, right? That's so. It's also understanding that it's a journey we are starting. We're not going to resolve and solve everything. Not everyone will even agree that they are a giver, which is fine. But how do we continue to grow the awareness, to grow giving, to grow the collectivizing,
Yes.
and maybe the formalizing. Who knows? Maybe. If
Maybe
that
the
is where we
formalizing.
decide we want to go.
Yes.
And there are some forms of formal giving, like, when we give to our churches, our mosques, when we give to our alumni associations. Some of us are in Lions clubs, Rotary clubs, Kobazam, tribal associations,
Yes.
ethnic
Yes.
associations rather, or old, I don't know, many of us already belong to formal sorts of giving.
Of giving, yes.
And that too is fine. And some of us do it anonymously, some of us do it overtly, some of us, it's okay. It's all taking humanity forward.
I love it. I love it. Lastly, Jackie, I hope.
Until you remember something else.
What's your typical day like, and what's the one thing you feel like is like the most important thing that you have to do in the day?
My tea at 6 p.m. You have asked me. I have answered the question. My tea, you people, wherever I be, my tea.
How do you like your tea?
My tea, African tea, spiced, strong, and I don't know, 6 p.m. for me is when I start my wind down ritual.
Yeah.
But I know Dr. Kasenene will look at me and he'll tell you cow's milk is for cows, because I'm like, you people.
Have you ever seen any other animal or creature drinking human milk? Why are you drinking cow's milk?
Leave us. Maybe if who said they don't want it?
Jackie,
Just
there's
don't
a
know how to ask
reason.
us.
There's a reason.
Mutuleke.
Milk is produced for a limited period of time for all animals.
You're one of those. But no. So there's that. The like clockwork. My 6 p.m. It's my way to close the day.
Yeah.
If I can catch a sunset, now that I walk in the morning, seeing that sunrise. So what is a typical day like? For me, those are markers of my day, because anything in between can
Yes, it is.
Everything else in between.
Yeah, that's true.
The other thing I try and do on a daily as part of my typical day is the gratitude notes.
Yeah.
I try and write a minimum of 3, try to force myself to remember more things to be grateful for. And yesterday I was actually thinking about it, that these days my prayer is just thank you. I don't even lean into, of course are there asks, absolutely, but more and more
Of gratitude.
Thank you. Yeah, it's become a refrain in my life.
So about maybe 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago, something, I started this, read somewhere at the beginning of the year, this whole journaling thing. And that's another thing I wanted to ask you, the writing type. I mean, you said you work with people, you have conversations, you write bullet points. And in my head, I'm like, must you write bullet points? Can't you just keep the conversations in your head and move on?
No, because the space is I could, like I said, I don't know what was for whoever it is and whatever it was for, but has now become my thing to do. I like writing.
So recently I had someone, oh gosh, so many things. Recently I had someone who said, Solomon, I want to come to the studio. I want to empty myself before I die.
And you're like, in my studio.
Okay, Jackie, I didn't look at it like that. Jackie. You're so
sorry
naughty.
For said guest.
Listen, I want to empty myself before I die. I'm like, that's interesting, because no one had ever put it like that. We actually, it's like, how like people of a certain faith are like, emptied before they are buried and all that. And but her point was that she has so much inside of her, and she wants to give it out. And for you, my friend, I feel like you're already doing that. Like you write blogs twice, thrice a week. Every time you work with someone, you share a lot with people and so on and so forth. And I don't have to ask whether you are a journaling kind of person. You
absolutely.
definitely are.
Yes.
I also know that when my father passed away, 14 years ago in October, it is later that, we read through his writings and so on, and a lot of stuff made sense. His relationships, thriving and injured, made so much sense. Of like, this person, we went through this, they did this, and, this is not the person. You're like, no wonder. He never explained, but then I was like, man, writing is so important.
It is.
So I learned, that whole gratitude writing thing. At the end of the day, write down how your day went. 3 sections. 1, what was your win for the day? Write your wins. The interesting one is write your point of tension. What stressed you? What didn't go well? Then write your gratitude. And I know that I think I'm one of the most consistent people I know. So I've been consistent with it for the last, 2, maybe 3 years. I need to remember. It started after COVID. Anyway, sometimes you go back. Now, I'm not a physical book writing kind of person. So I'm the digital person.
Okay,
so I can go back to the app and type a word and search by word, and it will throw me back to a certain day or something. So this whole digital thing is so bad. There's a young man in studio here with us. He'll understand that sometimes when you're flipping through the book and you want to find a word, you may look for top right corner to search for it in a physical book.
Yes.
So gratitude is important. Writing it down is even more important. And I think it's mostly important when you flash back, go back to things you wrote a couple of years ago, your wins then, the things that stressed you then, and then you find that they are nothing compared to the things that are stressing you now, and so on. I also know that you asked me whether there is specific questions for this conversation.
Yes.
And I told you we shall flow.
Yes.
And we may flow endlessly, but do you have anything that you think our viewers and listeners should know, or that you thought you were going to share when you're coming, that we haven't touched on?
No, I was absolutely open.
Wow.
Yeah. So we've had the conversation we needed to have. What I was thinking about now is, so who has ever interviewed Solomon?
You did.
When
we walked.
Hey,
Let me
that
tell
was
you.
Unrecorded.
Must we tell this story on?
Hey, you.
So I got to walk with Jackie. 6 a.m. in Tinder. And the first 10 minutes we walked, I started asking the questions until she smoked me out. I said, Solomon, hold on. You remember that?
Yes, I do remember.
This is walk with Jackie, not walk with Solomon. I mean, it is me. I also learned that I am extremely uncomfortable talking about myself.
And yet we walked, and then there was the after the walk, right? Remember, almost an hour after. Yeah.
And after that, we sat and talked. So I don't get. I was like, wow, this chick, she has really put me on the spot of I need to know about you. I'm like, no, not me.
Yes, you.
So, this podcast has not helped, because sometimes people come here wanting to get to know me and my business. So I'm in this business community called BNI, Business Network International. And in BNI, we have this thing they call one-to-ones, where different business owners visit each other to learn more about the other person. So I get many people who ask for one-to-ones. They come to get to know me. Then they sit in that chair and they walk away giving away everything about themselves, but about me.
From you. But Solomon.
It's not helpful.
Yeah. So they need to walk. Maybe the walking is what.
Maybe the walking and
See, if I had known, we should have recorded it as a podcast.
Jackie, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for having these conversations.
My answer does not by any means mean that you should set an appointment to interview me. because it
You
can be
wait.
quite
You
uncomfortable.
wait. You wait. Hey, it'll happen and you won't kino.
Our viewers and listeners, Jackie Asiimwe.
It's been a pleasure.
Wow, what a session it has been. Jackie's an amazing woman. Clearly, she's a lover of life. I could say that. And she's an author. She's a lot many things, but she's a beautiful human being.
Thank you.
Until the next episode of Business Chronicles, I'm Solomon Tumwesigye. I'll catch you on that one.
That's for me?
Yes, that's for you, Jackie. Shall we sip together?
Okay.
3, 2, 1.